Hey there, everyone. Welcome back. We're doing day 2 of 30 days of radical acceptance today. And I do hope that your new year is going wonderfully so far. It's January 2nd, 2023. And this is going to be a wonderful, great, amazing year. Okay, so the theme for today's radical acceptance idea is I am in the driver's seat of my life. Okay, so this one, there's a little bit of build up towards the main idea here, but I think it's important and I think you'll really enjoy going along with this story here. So the overarching theme also for all of these lessons is about feeling good. So I definitely want you to notice that the whole energy behind this is for you to feel better about yourself and just to feel good in general. Okay, yeah, something about strengthening your own feel-good muscles. A little play on words there. So each new day is an opportunity to do everything differently. This is sort of where this idea is coming from. And to help us understand the kind of container that we're in, the guidance was telling me to focus on what is predictable that is outside of us that we can look at, supposedly outside of us that we can look at. So every day you notice the sun rises and sets, the moon rises and sets, the stars come out, the seasons change. So it's almost like the planet and the cosmos are showing us that you can trust us to hold up our end of the deal. We're creating a container for you that is very predictable and always going to do the same thing so that you have the space and the time and the comfort level to do whatever it is you need to do in your incarnation. So just see it that way, that it's a gift of a safe container for us to do our work during this incarnation. So one of the things that was brought to my attention was the lack of understanding of what is happening to us during our dream time. When we're asleep, even if you're taking naps, your spirit leaves your body and you're traveling into all kinds of different dimensions and places. You're reconnecting with beings, you're doing healing work, you're doing reconciliation, you're planning, you got missions from other aspects of your soul, just work that you're doing as your body is sleeping. The spirit leaves immediately. And one of the things that happens initially is all the worries and concerns and people problems that you have in your life, that gets put down immediately. The spirit leaves, and that is not even a consideration as the soul is traveling around and doing all the things it needs to do. So there is so much going on in the ultimate reality that the spirit is just taking on, doing the things that we talked yesterday about the oversoul and all of these this group of collective entities that you're a part of, you're a cohort of. There's a lot going on when you're sleeping. And even napping, like I said, it's little tune-ups and oil changes and healing or whatever you want to call it. Just know that all of that is happening. So that is why this idea of being in the driver's seat of your life, you can actually begin thinking of each day as truly a fresh start. Now, you may be in the midst of something with another person, or to use the example of if you're grieving, you're going through like the loss of a human being in your life, and there's like a process of things that are happening, not only emotionally, but out in the world. Perhaps you're planning ceremonies and rituals and different things that you're doing to honor the completion of an event that's happening. And I believe you'll be guided in that as well, and that's all very important. But what I want to address here is this idea to empower yourself to know that during whatever process you're going through, at some point, you come to a place where you decide that you're going to put something down and walk away. And that has to do with emotional pain, maybe physical pain. You have an illness, you were sick, and you believe that you're taking medicine and you're working with healers and you're doing all these things. But at some point, it is you and only you that decides that you're going to put that down and return to neutrality or homeostasis. That is what's supposed to be making you feel good. That is how powerful you are, is you go through this whole process until you come to this completion place, and then you walk away. But that is you deciding that you are going to do that on that particular day. And so my suggestion is that we look for that day. We look forward to that day in the future. So with anything you're dealing with right now, there's going to be a day that you're going to be able to put it all behind you and walk away feeling whole. You have this feeling of love and peace has returned to you as if it ever went away. And that's you being brave enough and courageous enough to say, I've endured this experience and now I'm going to put it down and walk away. And in this new year, I think it's really important to take an inventory right now of all the ongoing things that you might be dealing with or experiencing and start to project into the future. Look forward to that day of when you're going to be complete with it, when you're going to put all of that down and walk away. Because like I said, each day, the cosmos are conspiring to provide this comfortable container for us to experiment in any way that we want to during our incarnation. And it wants us to believe how powerful we are. And it wants us to reconnect with that higher level self that is always pumping ideas and guidance and information our way. So it's okay to kind of step back and analytically say, all right, here's this list of things that I have going on in my life. And I know there's going to be a day that I decide that I'm going to walk forward without carrying this burden anymore. And that is what my focus is going to be. Not on the minutia of the process and, knowing that I'm supposed to be hurting for this long or looking outside of myself, again, going out into these internet places and looking for what does the world say I'm supposed to do in these kinds of situations. This is the blank slate year. And this is the year that we can really begin to recreate the kind of life that we want to have around making these empowered decisions. Like, I'm going to have a day when this is not going to be a problem anymore. And I want to envision that day and step into that day. And what does that day feel like? So you are in the driver's seat of your life. And no matter how many people around you are helping you go through whatever you're going through, it's beautiful to honor them and to express gratitude. But know that is you and only you that moves you forward beyond all of these burdens that you may be carrying. And I just want to empower you with that information today. So the other thing we're going to jump into is the manual for teachers. We're on lesson number 2, and the section is called Who Are Their Pupils? So I just underlined a couple of statements. Once again, I definitely encourage you to read the whole thing. It's a page and a half. And there's a really interesting teaching in here that goes into time, which I find really interesting and thought-provoking. But the couple of lines I want to highlight in here are as follows. Certain pupils have been assigned to each of God's teachers, and they will begin to look for him as soon as he has answered the call. They were chosen for him because the form of the universal curriculum that he will teach is best for them in view of their level of understanding. And then moving into the end of the section, when pupil and teacher come together, a teaching-learning situation begins. For the teacher is not really the one who does the teaching. God's teacher speaks to any two who join together for learning purposes. The relationship is holy because of that purpose, and God has promised to send his Spirit into any holy relationship. Those who would learn the same course share one interest and one goal, and thus he who was the learner becomes a teacher of God himself, for he has made the one decision that gave his teacher to him. He has seen in another person the same interests as his own. So that is section number 2 of the manual for teachers. A couple of highlights in there. Who are their pupils? I hope you enjoyed this today. Thanks a lot for staying with me on the ride here through January 2023. And be powerful. You're in the driver's seat of your life. Feel that energy, take it with you today, and I'll see you again tomorrow.